up on This Week in Plymouth, we review the warrant articles, town budget, and how to find all of the information before town meeting. And we'll recap the talking points and news from around the board meetings and events here in town. All that and more coming up on This Week in Plymouth. After a week off due to scheduling conflicts and a quiet week around town, we're back with another episode of This Week in Plymouth. I'm your host, Dan Salzer. Last week, Monday, February 27th, the Select Board had a special visitor in Cindy Warmington, Plymouth's new District 2 Executive Counselor.
So I'm Cindy Warmington, and I am the Executive Counselor for District 2. And this is, I've just recently been re-elected to the Executive Council, so the Executive Council is not new to me, but I'm new to Plymouth because of the redistricting. Plymouth is now part of District 2, and so I will be serving you in Concord for the next 2 years, and actually Plymouth will be in District 2 for the next 10 years at least. My background is in healthcare. I had 40 years of healthcare experience before I came to the Executive Council, and have really focused on addressing a lot of the issues that have come up during the public health emergency. One thing of note that you should all know coming up is that the federal government has declared the end of the public health emergency to occur on May 11th. That's going to have some impacts. Some impacts that will be felt before the end of the public health emergency is that there'll be a significant decrease in SNAP benefits. And so we've been, the Department of Health and Human Services has been working to address that, the concern that people's benefits will decrease quite suddenly in March. And in April, the Department of Health and Human Services has already started the revalidation process for Medicaid recipients, but many people may find that if they haven't gone through that process, they will be unenrolled, which can have significant impacts on our communities. Other things that'll come up before the council this year, this is an odd numbered year, and so the 10-year highway transportation plan will come up. We will be holding hearings for the 10-year transportation plan all around the district, and you'll be hearing about that, and those will start this summer, and that process will continue through into the fall. In addition to that, it's a really good opportunity for me to get out and about among my district. As I said, I have 81 cities and towns in my district. 49 are new to District 2, and I am really trying to get to every single one, learn about your unique needs. Your executive counselor is really eyes and ears for you, and the one who can help you if you run into a log jam with a state agency. So please, please, please feel free to call me.
Moving on to this week's events. The Plymouth Elementary School Board held a meeting this past Monday, March 6th. Following the meeting, the board held its annual district meeting where there were no warrant articles on the ballot. Only agenda items for the meeting were related to the budget. Of the 4 articles up for vote that night, all 4 of them passed without discussion in a meeting that lasted 7 minutes.
Okay, we will open with Article 1. To see what action the school district will take relative to the reports of agents and auditors, committees, and officers. And all those in favor of the motion to accept the articles of the reports of agents and others, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Nay. Article 1 passes. Brings us to Article 2, to establish a contingency fund. To see if the school district will vote to establish a contingency fund for the current year for unanticipated expenses that may arise, and further to raise and appropriate $1,000 put in the fund. This sum is to come from general taxation. Any appropriation left in the fund at the end of the year will lapse to the general fund. Article 2 passes. Article 3, fund balance to capital reserve fund. To see if the school district will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $50,000 to be added to the building maintenance capital reserve fund previously established. This sum to come from June 30 fund balance available for transfer on July 1. No amount to be raised for taxation. The school board recommends this article. Article 3 passes. Article 4, operating budget. To see if the district will vote to raise and appropriate the amount of $10,321,327 for the support of schools, for the payment of salaries for the school district officials and agents, and for the payment for the statutory obligations of the district. This article does not include appropriations contained in special or individual articles addressed separately.
Perhaps you can explain the increase this year over last year in a general way?
My name's Tanya Orlando. I'm the principal at Plymouth Elementary School, and I am a resident of the town of Plymouth. And I would say that generally the increase is due to increases in salaries across very many salary lines throughout the budget. In addition, the cost of doing business, whether it is fuel, oil, or supplies for the classroom, have gone up considerably. So generally, that is what I would say. I could certainly give you more specifics if you were concerned.
Article 4 passes.
The following night, the Pemmy-Baker School Board met at the high school. If you want to watch the full meeting, you can find it at select times on channel 1301 and on demand on our YouTube channel. Just search for Pemmy-Baker TV. That same night at 7 p.m., the zoning board met for its monthly meeting, where the board received a request for special exemption from the North Country Development Group to build an elevator for ADA accessibility at the Tenny Mountain Resort.
The first item is 151 Tenny Mountain. Is there a representative here for that matter?
My name is Stephen Kelly. I'm the new owner. Mike Bouchard, my partner, is with me, and Jeff Lewis, the principal of North Point Engineering, our civil engineer, is with us as well. Really, the only thing we need to talk about is one of the major challenges of the existing lodge as it is today is, handicapped accessibility, ADA, as well as just, people with limited mobility, not just ADA, So the only solution we really found is to create an elevator tower that we would locate down in the lower parking level and bring them up and then connect a bridge to the building. So Jeff is going to walk you through some of those elevations just to show you what it's going to look like.
We think we don't have any, we're not aware of any zoning issues we have here, but we did have this one peculiar criteria regarding the building height that we wanted to bring to you folks before we went to the planning board, because we think we need a special exception for the height of this tower. There is a 35-foot maximum building height in the town. While the lodge today does not come close to exceeding that, because we are building this additional structure down further in the parking lot, it will rise to a height of higher than 45 feet.
I'm here to support Stephen Kelly in the revitalization of Tenny Mountain.
Anyone else from the public? Yes, sir.
My name is Chris Long, and I'm also in a butter. I live up on Eagle's Nest, and I am the president of the Tenny Village Condo Association. And we wholeheartedly support the petition for the exception.
I just want to echo the Condo Association president in saying we're all very much for this.
I'd make a motion to accept the application for a special exception, or as written,
And grant.
and grant
the special exception.
and grant the special exception. Thank you. I'm like, there's a grant.
A second.
Made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous. The application is granted.
On Thursday night, the planning board held a special meeting to accommodate a consultant for the Housing Opportunity Program and the needs of the town moving forward. The board welcomed Judy Barrett from Barrett Planning Group, who over the last few days has met and interviewed members of the community to help better understand the concerns for the town.
Tonight we're going to welcome Judy Barrett from the Barrett Planning Group, and who has been working diligently this week, yesterday, today, and into tomorrow with a very, very full schedule. And so she is the owner, founding principal, and managing director of Barrett Planning, and I'm going to read a little bit from her bio. She brings 33 years of planning and community development experience as a consultant and community economic development professional with state and local government. Judy has devoted her career to building the capacity of cities and towns to solve difficult public policy questions and to develop effective leadership and advocacy skills. She has prepared and managed a variety of projects for public and private clients, including comprehensive and strategic plans, zoning revisions, housing studies, and more. And obviously, a lot of this is very relevant to what we're doing here, and she brings a wealth of experience and expertise with herself and her firm. So, would you like to say a few words?
I need to update my bio because it's 35 years now.
Oh, 35 years.
So, thank you for meeting, because I guess this is not a regular meeting night for you, and I appreciate your accommodating my schedule. It has been a full last couple of days, and it's been very helpful, and I think tomorrow will be as well. You know, until you actually start talking to people in a community, it's all data, and it's all past reports, and it's just sort of, you know, secondary sources of information or whatever, and it's when you start talking to people, it begins to put a lot of things together that perhaps were not all that clear. So I think one of the things that would be really helpful to me to know, and maybe we could even sort of go around and pick on everybody so I make sure I can hear from all of you, because I don't know all of you, is what you're hoping as board members to get out of this project. Where do you want to be when we finish our work with you later this year?
And I guess what I'm looking to get out of this is we can keep talking amongst ourselves and feel that we're experts on what the town needs, but we're too close to the situation sometimes, and it's nice to bring in someone who's viewed other towns and tell us what's glaringly missing. What could we do to be better? Some of us think that a lot of changes need to be made. Some probably think, geez, we've done it pretty good, and a lot of communities think that we've done it pretty good. So we're really excited to hear what the data says, and someone who's been in this for 35 years.
I'd like to see guidance for the planning board to meet the needs of the town as it grows. This town is really a complex community. It has an unusual, diverse population, and it's it also has unique geographical features, and I think that it's going to be a challenge to find the right path forward to meet the needs of this community as it grows.
I'm curious to have a professional who's not part of the community kind of provide an unbiased snapshot and opinion on kind of where we are as a community and you know, in the context of communities around us.
A lot of my motivation to be here is to help maintain what makes Plymouth so special, what either draws us here or keeps us here, while also being able to accommodate for growth and change and things that are inevitable. I think through this process, I think what's particularly important for us is we hear about housing challenges across the state, but I think we don't really know what that means for Plymouth. So helping us navigate what's really happening here, how that fits within a larger context, but also what makes us unique in this situation as well.
One of the things I, in this whole process, keep coming back to is what Rebecca was just mentioning, which is it is difficult to really engage the broader public and do a deep dive and really kind of talk to as many different types of people as possible, people who don't voluntarily just come to our planning board meetings because they're so exciting. And to be able to have the funding and the help to actually do that process. And obviously you started it this week. We're going to continue to dig deeper and wider and talk to the community next month, and to be able to get that really broad feedback and incorporate that into our process of planning in this town is one of my biggest goals.
But I think, you know, my hope is we can strengthen what Plymouth has. You know, I think we've done a really nice job. We have a great little downtown area. We also have rural areas, which I like. I kind of live out in the rural areas, which I appreciate. I also like the fact that we've tried to push kind of the larger commercial development out on Tenny Mountain, which I appreciate, keeping that there and keeping our downtown kind of with the same feel that it has. Growth is necessary. We can't stay stagnant, but I do want to make sure that we kind of protect kind of those three distinct areas: downtown, commercial development out on Tenny Mountain and kind of that area, and then also keep the rural culture that I think brings people in, whether it's for hiking, swimming on the river, or whatever it might be, recreational, skiing hopefully as well for some of us, but just growing, but keeping those roots kind of where they are currently.
And the reason why I got involved with the board is so I got to understand what the needs are of the town, what culture we're trying to protect, what type of technology we want to bring into the area, housing and so on. So I'm very excited, obviously, with what you're doing, and that's good feedback for us. And we're working with the university very closely so we can match up the curriculum to whatever the job market is here, so we can have a nice balanced ecosystem.
My perspective is different from any of my associates on the board here. I'd like to see you absolutely shake up and tip over the apple cart. I'd like you to come up with some fresh thinking. I'd like you to play with the idea of live, work, play. I'd like you to tell us some lands that aren't even developed that maybe infrastructure could expand to and are prime for development. Areas that would shatter the ceiling of the 35-foot height rule. Forget the culture, forget the historical, forget anything. My associate right beside me just presented a plan to the zoning board, which I'm on 2 nights ago, that showed a whole new building and a whole different vision for Tenny Mountain. There's no reason why the town can't retain their charm downtown, but establish new identities in other areas to facilitate growth that makes sense. What I mean by that is workforce housing or multifamily housing or a technology park or a business park. That's what I mean by upset the apple cart, tip it over, kick it.
I think I feel the same, a lot the way that Peter does. I'd like to see some changes. There's a lot of the regulations and stuff I feel are old. Society has changed over the years, and it just doesn't feel like the growth. We have not grown with that. We've not changed with the changes. I really would like to see more. Downtown is very restricted, obviously, and it's a beautiful, beautiful area, but Tenny Mountain Highway, that whole area, there are so many areas that could still be developed. Housing, we need the industry to get here in order for the housing to match it. So I just feel, I feel in order to get growth, we really need someone like yourself that's not close to everything and that can look at everything and just give us a better outlook on what you see.
And now for the weekend weather with the PSU Meteorology Department.
And now for your weekend outlook. That Saturday system that's going to be blowing through from Saturday morning, while it's not going to be bringing us any snow, it's going to be bringing us some cloud-covered temperatures up in the upper 30s. While Sunday is going to be living up to its name, being nice and sunny, only some spotty cloud cover, temperatures in the mid-40s, and with that sunshine, it might even feel even warmer than that. And then finally, for Monday, we're going to be seeing those PM showers coming in at around 3 p.m., probably a good couple inches of snow, some mixed precipitation on top of that. So we're going to be taking a look at that on Monday. And now for the rest of the week, we can see here some more chance of snow throughout the middle of the week around Tuesday and Wednesday. Temperatures staying in the low to upper 30s, while finally near the end of our week on Thursday and Friday, temperatures are even warmer. 39 on Thursday, 41 on Friday, with some beautiful sunny skies to bring you even warmer temperatures. I'm your student meteorologist, Sean Kennedy, here with PM weather at Plymouth State University. Have a good weekend, and for all you college students out there, have a nice spring break.
Taking a look at sports, the winter season has wrapped up for Plymouth Regional High School athletics. The wrestling team wrapped up its season over the past 2 weekends at the Meet of Champions and at the New England's Championships. Congratulations to Haley Demers, who is the state's first ever female champion at 126 pounds. This was the first year that the NHIAA has held an all-girls division at the Meet of Champions. Matt Cleary and Emmett Nossaman represented the Bobcats at New England's last weekend. Both went 2-2 during the tournament. Their finishes gave Plymouth a top 12 finish in the region. Plymouth State University men's ice hockey is back in the NCAA tournament after capturing their 4th straight MASCAC title last weekend. The 8th ranked in the nation Panthers will play host to 10th ranked University of New England this Saturday night at 7 p.m. from the PSU Ice Arena. If you can't make the game, you can watch it live right here on channel 1302. Coverage starts at 6:45. Take a look at the upcoming announcements for this week. Town Manager Scott Whedon posted his monthly message via the town website this past Thursday, March 2nd. In the post, Whedon talked about the final proposed budget for the upcoming town meeting, breaking down the process of designing the proposal. Town elections are coming up on Tuesday, March 14th, followed up by the annual town meeting on Wednesday night, the 15th, beginning at 7 p.m. in the gymnasium at the elementary school. For those of you who have been unable to keep up with the proposed warrant articles for this year, or would like to review what you'll be voting on during the town meeting, here's our guide for you and where to go. If you haven't visited the new town website and are looking for the information for the town meeting, you can find budget information at the link right here on your screen. That link will bring you to the information for the town budget and the warrant articles, which you can find here on your screen. Also, information on the capital improvement program. You can also find a link to the sample ballot at the bottom of that top box. And if you have any questions, be sure to contact Josie Ewing, the town clerk, who can be found at Town Hall or at the information on your screen. The town announced that they are looking for a part-time building inspector and code enforcement officer. If you are interested in the position, send your application to Deputy Chief Kevin Pierce at 42 Highland Street in Plymouth, New Hampshire, 03264, or send an email to the information below. The application deadline is March 27th or until the position is filled. The Planning Board will be having a public hearing at their March 16th meeting at 6:30 p.m. The board will be having a hearing for both a site plan review and a subdivision application, so be sure to attend in person at Town Hall or via Zoom to give your input to the board. Additionally, the Planning Board has announced a community meeting regarding the Housing Opportunity Program for its April 6th meeting. This meeting will take place in the cafeteria at the elementary school starting at 6:30 p.m. Keep a lookout for more information on the event in the weeks to come. The Select Board will also be meeting next week on Monday, March 13th for the final tune-up for town meeting the next night. Plymouth Village Water and Sewer will be holding its annual district meeting on Thursday, March 16th at 6 p.m. in the conference room on Old North Main Street. Again, if you want to watch meetings on demand, you can do so on our YouTube channel. Search Pemmy Baker TV or watch them at select times throughout the week on channel 1301. Some announcements from the high school: the National Honor Society and the National Technical Honor Society inductions will be held at the high school on March 14th at 6 p.m. Cultural Arts Night will be at PRHS and will be held on March 16th from 5 to 7 p.m. throughout the high school building. Friday, March 17th marks the one-year anniversary of the passing of Luke Besson. Luke was a student attending Plymouth Regional High School and was a part of the class of 2022. Luke was a kind soul who loved the outdoors and spending his free time at the weight room in the high school. In honor of him, the high school will be hosting a Gray Out Day event for Luke. There's a link on the Plymouth Regional High School website where you can buy Luke Be Strong gear, and all proceeds will be going to the new equipment room. That will end this week's episode. For our executive producer, Jonathan Picard, I'm Dan Salzer. If you have anything you would like to put on the show or have ideas for a show of your own, contact us at the information on your screen. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you right here next week on This Week in Plymouth.